Hello. Thank you for that thumbs up. Happy Tuesday. Tuesday to you. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Hope you've had a wonderful day. And I hope you have a wonderful week. Hope you continue to have a wonderful day, a wonderful week. Next thing you know, it'll be the weekend again. We're midway through the month. This is the 7th month of the year. We're almost what? 2/3 of the way through the year. So what have you guys done? If you had New Year's resolutions, if you believe in those and you had them, what resolutions have you kept? What things have you done that you planned to do that were new and you succeeded? What goals did you set for the year? Do you guys have any short-term goals that you had for the year that you have set and reached? I hope you did. And if you're just fine and you didn't have any New Year's resolutions, or if you didn't have any goals for 2025 and your goal was just to make it, just to get by, then continue to do that. Continue to do that. All right? The sun is going down. It feels nice out here. Of course, we get out here and we walk every evening in Lions Pride. And we encourage you to get up and walk at some point during the day, each and every day. You will love yourself for it. Your body will love you for it. Just make sure you don't overdo it, especially during the summer months when it's so hot outside. You know, make sure you don't overheat, right? Just take care of yourselves, okay? Do the things that you need to do during the summer months to make sure that you stay healthy and as fit as possible, okay? If you're gonna work outside, if you're gonna work out outside, if you're going to be outside a lot, make sure that you stay hydrated, stay as cool as possible, dress appropriately, wear sunscreen, preferably the mineral sunscreen, wear shades, wear wide brim hats, dress, don't have on so many clothing. And some people say that clothing helps them. So however it works for you, do what works for you. Do what keeps you cool, okay? I'd rather drop the clothes. I'd rather let the clothes go. This is hot. I don't need any clothes sticking to me and clinging to me, and then just wear the sunscreen, right? But the best thing to do is just to do everything before it gets so hot during the day. Early morning hours and late in the evening. Do the things that you need to do early in the morning and or late in the evening. So watch the legs move, one step at a time, one foot in front of the other. We're moving and we keep moving. Keep moving. Consistency is key, and you want to be persistent with your consistency. Be persistent about it, okay? Be persistent about your consistency. M&Ms over here. We eat M&Ms over here. We talk M&Ms, okay? All right, not the candy-covered chocolate, but moderation and modification. Do all things in moderation, okay? When it comes to what you eat, how you move, we want to keep moving, and we want to move to improve, but sometimes due to certain limitations, we have to modify the movements that we make. Hey, Shawanda. Okay, and we have to do those movements in moderation. Same with what we eat. Moderation is key. Modification is key. Modification and moderation are keys to our success, okay? How you doing, Shawanda? Happy Tuesday to you. Happy Tuesday to you. Shawanda, I was just talking about it's the 7th month of the year. When is your birthday, Shawanda? Isn't it December? Because looks like we were just talking about it. Looks like we were just talking about your birthday. So ladies and gentlemen, children and adults, young, elderly, and in between, get up and move. I thought it was. Get up and move. Move your body. Work your body. Work your body. Make sure you don't hurt your body. Okay? Move, move, move. Consistency and being persistent about your consistency, those are the keys. M&M's, moderation and modification. I thought, Shawanda, look, what is this? Basically, July 15th, okay. August, September, October, November, December. We are over halfway through the year. Okay, it's almost time to start talking about your birthday again, Shawanda. That's just how fast it goes. That's just how fast it flies by. So if you set any goals, right, I hope that you're reaching those goals. And if you haven't reached them, you're having some problems reaching them, just reset them. Reset your goals, okay? There's nothing wrong with resetting your goals. When I was younger, I would just be disappointed, okay? But as you get older and a little bit wiser, smarter, you start to realize that sometimes you're not always going to reach your goal when you intend to reach your goal. And sometimes we put goals on ourselves that we can't reach in the time that we give ourselves to reach them. We have to extend that time, right? Sometimes we set goals that are unrealistic. And if the goal isn't unrealistic, we set an unrealistic, path. So we have to just modify. Thank you guys for those thumbs up. I appreciate you. Thank you for coming along on this evening walk. We walk in the evenings because it feels so much better. Hey, Lawrence. Hey, bro. Welcome into the chat, Lawrence. I'm moderator. Okay. Welcome into the chat. Yes, so, you set goals. Hopefully you guys have reached the goals that you set so far for this year. If you do the resolutions, hopefully you're keeping with your resolutions. If you set any resolutions for 2025, at the beginning of the year, if you set any New Year's resolutions, I hope that you are sticking to those. Okay? I hope so. This boy came to the street. He came to the street to talk, y'all. His mama. Okay, let me make sure. We got traffic, so we're gonna march. Pull those feet up. Work those hip flexors. Work those knees. Work those ankles. Work those feet. When we get traffic, we stop, but we keep moving. Right? We stop, but we keep moving. We keep moving. And don't forget to get in your resistance weight training during the week. Okay? Men and women. All right? Men and women. All right? Men and women. We got to not only do cardio, we've got to do some weight resistance, right? Weight resistance training. You don't have to lift heavy, but lift enough. You don't have to lift so heavy, but make sure you lift enough. All right? Lift enough. Get those muscles toned. right? Get those muscles toned. Make them stronger. And that way, you can do your cardio even longer. All right? It's only been 13 minutes. We're trying to do 30 minutes. I got a late start today because I just got back to where I need to be to get out here and walk. So we're going to see. We're going to see. Maybe we can do 2 laps because these are big laps. These are big laps. And thank you guys for joining me, Lawrence and Shawanda. I appreciate you. And for those that came through who didn't say hello and hung around for a few minutes, I saw you. I saw you because the count went up. And I appreciate you. I thought I was catching the... You thought this was a replay, Lawrence? What happened? Did it start to buffer? Was it loading? I'm a little bit later than usual. Yesterday, I was kind of back on track. A couple of days before that, I was later than usual. So today, I'm back late. Because it's a little late. Oh, okay, I got you. I got you. I got you. It is. I'm a little bit late today, so I might not even get in 30 minutes. Because we're right here. We're just right coming up on 15. Yep, I had to get out here and get it, though. You know, we get that exercise in the morning, and we get our walk and talks in the evening. And so instead of missing, I said I can just come out here and do 30 minutes. And if it gets too dark, we'll stick to like 20. About 20. But I think we got it. I think we got it. Yep. Yeah, I think we got it. We'll do one more lap, maybe and a half. And that'll be good. That'll be good. Because it was so hot today. That's one reason, too. I was moving around a little bit more, had some stuff to do. But it was really hot today. So even when the sun set, even when the sun went down, even now, it's really warm out here. So, you know, we are slapped in the middle of summer. You know, they say July does not play. Very, very humid. Yes, Lawrence, very humid. They say that July does not play. But I'm going to tell y'all something. July doesn't play. But I think August is the worst. I think August is worse. For years I would hear, oh, July is so hot. And people would say July and August. But then I started to hear, as I got a little bit older, people would be like, yeah, July and August, but August is the one. August is the one that'll get you. Yeah, August does not play. It's almost like August is saying, yeah, we're about to kick into the last full month of summer, so I'm going to kick y'all's butt. We're about to kick into that last full month of summer, so August is there to show out, okay? Show up and show out and let us know just how hot it can be. Let us know just how hot it can be over here in the States. And a lot of other places too. Okay, yes, Lawrence. I would hear July and August, but more and more people would say, yeah, they're both hot, but August is the worst. When it comes to heat, it is the worst. And it's humid. Oh my gosh. Humid. Hot and humid. It can be sweltering in July. Don't get me wrong, because July, I think there have been years where July was hotter. I think there have been times when there are times when July is the hotter of the two. But overall, I think August is the hottest. Be burning up, be hot, hot. But you know what? Up north doesn't play either, okay? New England doesn't play either. Yeah, it's New England, and it's like people have this thought that, okay, up north, it gets freezing cold. Y'all don't know nothing about it in the South. But the South has its years, okay? The South has its years. Because I live in both. My family's from both, okay? I grew up in both. Because in the summertime, people in like up north, New York, Boston, they're like, man, it be so hot down there. Yeah, but y'all forget, it be hot up here too. I went to school up here. It be hot. It be hot. I'm talking about a heat wave has no, when there's a heat wave doesn't discriminate. It just depends on where it wants to go. Sometimes up north, it can be hotter up north than it is down south. Especially if there's a heat wave and it happens to go that way. And then people down south, they think it doesn't get hot up north. It does. And people up north think that it's always 100 in the south. Pretty much the south doesn't get really cold, but they have had their years, okay? The south has had its years where it gets cold. It snows more. Like last year was a year where it snowed more often in the south this time. It would be up, people up north would be saying, it's snowing down there? So, to me, it all has to do with the climate. The changes going on in the climate. Hundreds of years from now, down south may be where it's freezing all the time. Up north may be where it's hot all the time. That's true. Philly been 90 degrees. Woo, woo. See, that's hot. 90 degrees anywhere is hot. 90 and above, I don't care where you are. 90 and above, that's hot. That is hot. But yeah, I do, generally speaking, the south does get hotter and the north does get colder. But don't let it fool you. Don't ever be surprised if it's snowing more days than not in the south. And it's a heat wave more so than not up north. Because it can happen. It happens all the time. They've already had one. Look. You see his eyes? Eyes are so pretty. I hadn't seen him in a while. That's true. Philippine. Okay, I saw that. Yeah, it's like it gets hot. It gets hot. It gets hot. It gets hot. I might be able to get 30 minutes in here. 30 minutes in. We're at 20 minutes, almost 21 minutes. I think I'm going to go a half a lap. So I might get like 25 to 30. So what have you been doing this week, Lawrence? Have you been busy? Just working? Just chilling? What you been up to? Anybody who catches this live replay, do not mind. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe. Ring my doorbell, okay? It's called that notification bell. Tap all. So you'll be notified each and every time I upload a short or I go live in the evening, okay? We don't go live every evening, but we try. We try. We try. But we keep moving regardless. We keep moving. One foot in front of the other, one step at a time, step by step. Keep moving. Make sure that you exercise in some way, some form or fashion. Some people are more into cardio. Some people are more into weight training. Try to get a combination of the two. And if you really enjoy one more, that's fine. That just means you're going to put more emphasis on it, and that's okay. Right? That's okay. That is okay. Just pay attention to what you eat. Pay attention to what you do. Make sure that the exercises you do are in line with your abilities and capabilities. Work your body. Work your body. Make sure you don't hurt your body. Work your body. Work your body. Don't overexert your body. Just go, okay. For your ankle. Gotcha. It's getting stronger. Oh, man. Look, I'm so glad it's getting stronger. Because that hurts. They say that really hurts. So I'm so glad it's getting stronger. They say that really hurts. So yes, get stronger and stronger. Yes, it's been a long journey. Listen, just keep pushing. You gotta keep pushing. You know I say keep moving over here. We gotta do all of it. Keep moving, keep pushing, keep striving, keep going, keep elevating, keep climbing, keep climbing. Sometimes you gotta keep pulling. You gotta pull. So just keep pulling, keep moving, keep going, keep pushing, keep working, keep striving, keep elevating. Because they said that is a journey. That Achilles, that is a journey. And you know, anytime something like that happens, unless you're very, very young, like I mean really young, even younger than these college kids. I mean, even when they get those type of injuries, they can get, some of them get back to 100%. A lot of them maybe 90 to 95, and maybe even more. I'd say 90 to 95, 90 to 100%, depending on how bad the rupture or tear is. But if you're a little kid, they tend to kind of bounce back a little bit better because they're still growing, they're still forming. So, but if you're an adult, some of the injuries like that, when it comes to an adult, oh my gosh. Even if you're an athlete, and again, the athletes will recover quicker. They have access to more equipment, better therapy, more therapy. But listen, it's a journey for them even. It's a journey for them even. So the good thing about them though is that they're like machines right now. You know, in their 20s and 30s, they're college athletes or pro athletes. They're like machines. But a lot of football players will tell you that's why they're retired before 40. And honestly, they can afford to. But some, if they just truly, truly love the game, like a Brady or somebody like that, man, they'll go to 45 if they can. Like LeBron loving the love of basketball. He doesn't have to play basketball anymore, but they just love the game. Kobe, you know, so it doesn't matter what type of injuries they've had. They're like machines too. They're the more seasoned players, but guess what? They've been doing this for so long. They're like machines as well. And maybe they don't bounce back as young, as quickly as the 22, 23-year-olds in the league, but they bounce back really quickly compared to the average individual. He's an alien. Lauren says, I am 53, hope to get 75%. I don't think it will ever be 100. Listen, 75% will be good. You know, if we're talking about taking a test, it's passing, right? So it's a fair score. And so as you age, listen, the 60%, the 70%, the 75%, especially if you're talking about an injury, man, it's a lot. That's a lot. That's good. And if you can get back into the 80s and 90s, that's great. Get back into the 80s and 90s, that's great. Yeah, some people, they could have retired years ago. But the love of the game, the love of the sport, the love of the competition, you know, they just keep going. They keep moving and they keep going. So we're right at 27 minutes. So we will get 30 minutes in, you guys. Y'all know I practice and preach an hour, but I exercise earlier in the day and I come back on here. What do I tell you guys? Working out for me is like eating, right? Right? My warm-up is my appetizer. My exercise, that's my entree. Whatever exercises I do, that's my entree. And my cool down is my dessert. So I come on every evening and I get a second dessert. Who doesn't like 2 desserts, right? I get a second dessert. And we cool down together. So I'm going to slow down right now. Get into a true cool down. Because you know when you warm up, you want to get that heart rate up. Start to warm the body up, warm those muscles, those tendons, those ligaments. All right? Get the heart pumping a little bit faster so that it can go into your exercise, all right? your workout routine, whatever you're going to do for that day, whatever your cardio is. All right? Know what your target heart rate should be. Know what your maximum heart rate should be for your age. You guys can find that, okay? And know what your target heart rate should be for whatever goal you've set, okay? For whatever goal you set. I'll be 54 December 24th. I'm getting old. Listen, Lawrence, to get old is a blessing, okay? To get old, older people say, you know, they have this, they have that, certain things going on. And, you know, just through talking to them, like our parents, our grandparents, our great-grandparents. My great-great-grandmother lived until I was 15. So, you know, they have things that go on. Some of them are as healthy as an ox their entire lives. But, you know, some of them have their aches, their ailments. But listen, they always consider getting old a blessing. They consider getting old a blessing. And when you think about it, sometimes people feel like when people are in their 50s, 40s, or 50s, they're, oh, you just don't want to be old. You're old. Well, think about this. Basically, from birth to 10, you're a baby. You know, you're a baby, little kid. 10 to 20, that's 20 years right there. You've pretty much done high school, and if you go to college, you're still in college. So look at how fast that, you know, you're in school, you're thinking, oh, I want to get grown, I want to get grown. But once you get in your mid-30s and you look back on that, you were just 20, say you're 35, you were just 20, 15 years ago. It flies by fast. It flies by fast. So if you think in increments of 5, it flies by. So at 54, 52, 53, 54, you're too old for some things to be doing certain things. But when you think about it in as far as the time on earth, you're not old. You're not that old. You're seasoned, if people want to say that, because, you know, like I say, from birth to 10, you're a baby. 10 to 20, you're a kid. And honestly, some 20-year-olds are still kids with their way of thinking. Well, anybody can be a kid. A 70-year-old can be a kid in the way of thinking. But I'm just saying, some of the decisions that you're making in life, you still don't honestly understand the total repercussions of it. So 20, you're still in college, or you're at college age, to 30. People who are 30 start to say that they're old. And back in the day, people would call 30 middle age. But you were just in your 20s, still figuring things out. Because, you know, from, again, birth to 10, you ain't thinking about nothing, no bills, no nothing. 10 to 20, somewhere along the way, you start to think about college and what you may want to do as an adult, or if you're even going to go to college. 20s to 30s, you're trying to establish that thing that you're going to retire from, or that thing that you're going to do, that you want to do forever. You know, some people don't have it in their minds that they're going to work a job for someone else and retire. They're going to work for themselves, or they're going to get into the entertainment business, or they're going to do something. You know, so by the time you're 30, some people, you have to be careful about what you're going to do, because some people will tell you that you're old. How are you old when you just kind of figured it all out? You just kind of figuring it all out by the time you turn 30. You know, at 29, 364 days, that's not much difference than 30, 2 months, and 24 days, right? So you're still figuring it out sometimes. Some people just graduated college at 22, 23. If they went to get their master's, maybe they graduate from about the time they're 28, 29. You may just be deciding what you really want to do and retire from. Or even if you don't ever think about retiring, what you want to do with your life as far as a career. You know, how you want to enjoy your life, the work or the job that you want to have. You don't necessarily have to have a job to have work. You know, do you want to work for yourself? Do you want to change what you do? Do you want to do this for so long? Do you want to be in the military? By the time you're 38, you've been in the military, if you went in at 18, for 20 years. But that's honestly not a long time. You're still in your 30s. Again, in your 20s, you're still figuring it out, right? So you get it figured out by your late 20s, or you're still trying in your early 30s. Guess what? Those 10 years from 30 to 40, they fly by. They fly by. I'll be 54 December 20. Oh, okay, I saw that one. They fly by. So, yeah, birth to 20, I'll say birth to 20, you're a kid. 20 to 30, you're wrapping up college. You're figuring it out. In your 30s, you get into your career. If you haven't already, some people are fortunate enough that they've decided what their career is going to be, and right out of college they went right into it. Some people, they went to college and they're like, okay, I went to college and that's not even for me what I got my degree in. So by the time they're 30, they figured it out. So they're thinking, okay, retire at 50. Well, guess what? People who are 50 to maybe 55 years old, some of them go into a whole other career and retire again by 75. Retire again by 75. So there are a lot of ways to look at it. There are a lot of ways to look at it. Like I said, the person who went into the military at 18, they can retire at 38, 40, and get a whole new career and retire again at 60, not even 75, like 60. And just chill, just chill. And that's one reason some people never retire, because they say when they sit still, they just don't feel right. They do better by moving around. And not just, of course you retire, you vacation, maybe you travel the world for a year, and you're 62 years old. That's why so many people go back to work. Maybe they don't even need the money. Anybody can use extra money, but I'm saying they don't, like their bills are paid, they know how they'll get paid, they have, funds here and there, but they don't want to sit home all day. And there's only so much traveling you can do, right? Some people travel a lifetime after they retire, but some people don't want to do that. So they go back to work. So, like I said, you can go in the military at 18, retire at 38. Take a little break and then work from 40 to 60. Or if you're 35 and you just figured it out, again, you haven't been on earth that long at 35. 0 to 20. You're practically a baby, a kid. 30s, you're figuring it out. Well, you do something until you're 50. You're like that 38 or 40-year-old. You're not ready to sit down yet. You can do a whole new career or do your own thing from 50 to 70, 55 to 75. We got presidents around here 78 and 79 years old. Or you don't necessarily have to do 20 years and retire. If you find something new that you want to do at 55, retire at 70. Because they keep moving the age of retirement up anyway. Like, you can retire at 70 with God's good graces and with, prayer, and that he gives you the strength to keep going. Start you a whole new career, or a whole new thing at 54, 55, and retire at 70. And then just kind of chill. Travel then. I see 70-year-olds that I think they're 60. I think they're in their late 50s. So I'm going to get out of here, guys. Y'all know what it is. Think of those R words: relax, relate, release, resolve, remember, replenish, restore, okay? Rejuvenate. And self. That 4-letter word self. Self-love, self-motivation, self-commitment, self-dedication. And you guys know I wish you peace, positivity, and prosperity. Because what? Without peace, you got chaos. Without positivity, there's sure to be some negativity, right? And wherever chaos and negativity roam, if you let it affect you enough, you fail to prosper to your fullest potential. I want you guys to prosper. I want to prosper. We all should prosper. All right? So I will see you guys on the next Let's Walk and Talk in Lions Pride. Okay? I got a lot of running around to do tomorrow. That's one reason I went ahead and jumped on today, too, even though it was getting late. And thank you, bro. Thank you, Lawrence, so much for being here, hanging out with me, having a good old conversation. Okay? Thank you, Shawanda. Shawanda came through here. And I will see you guys on the next one. Thank you so much, Lawrence, for being here, bro. See, sometimes you don't meet your good people till you've been on this app for a while. So if you're on this app, don't let people bother you. Just revamp. Go into other areas and find people that you have more in common with. Find people who you can talk with as adults. Find people who don't let things linger around or don't get mad with you over things on an app, okay? And find people that don't bother you. Because we can speak positivity and we can speak prosperity and we can speak, things of that nature. But sometimes you have full-grown adults who they just, they just irk your nerves. They grind your gears, right? Lawrence says, always a pleasure. So. You know that, Lawrence. You know that it's so. Always a pleasure. Thank you again for being here. Yes, we be having a good time. But see, Lawrence, the thing about it is, it's so funny that people don't even like that. They'd rather be. I love family channels. I love watching people build cars and stuff like that. But what I notice is, and I like some drama. I look at some drama channels. But what I notice is that people love that stuff. But the cars and stuff like that, that's relaxing for me. But the drama, sometimes it can be funny, but usually somebody goes too far. Somebody goes too far. But even though people will say that, that's what they love. That's what they support. That's what they encourage. And nobody fixes to get out there. And then if you do, like I said, that's why I say I don't motivate people anymore. Because when you do start to motivate people, sometimes they get too clingy. They start to cling on to you too much. So it's like the adults on this app are funny, okay? They're funny and they're finicky. They're funny and they're finicky. Yes, Lawrence, exactly. Because I have motivated people, I have encouraged people, and they will leave your channel, and instead of getting nuggets and taking, how you take ideas from people and you make them your own, or you can take an idea and you can try and make their idea your own. I don't like that. If I take an idea from somebody, I'm going to turn it around and flip it upside down and swirl it around and make it my own. So I don't look like I'm being a direct replication of them, As an adult, I do think that is key. I think creativity is key. I teach my kids, I teach smaller kids, be as creative as you can, right? God gives us each our own talents. And after that, that's where creativity comes in. Some people are just naturally creative, and some are not. But when you're not naturally creative, some people who aren't naturally creative, they will take the smallest little thing that we don't think is a big deal. You don't think it's a big deal until you see that they're doing exactly everything you do. And it's like, I don't like that. I don't like that over here, especially when I encourage you to do something. We drop nuggets over here. We don't professionally, medically, or clinically, I always say diagnose, assess, diagnose, treat, or evaluate. And we don't do anything telling people what to do. Anything I say or do so at your own risk. But when I encourage people and then they leave your chat and you haven't seen them in a while, and the next thing you know, you go and check and it looks like a whole replication of what you've been doing, you be like, what? So, people on these apps will look at any little thing about you on your channel and they'll figure, okay, I got to do it that way. They tell you all the time, take nuggets from people, take ideas, take cues, and make them your own. Me neither, or at least give credit. Yeah, exactly, Lawrence. Take those things and then make them your own. Because like they love to say, ain't nothing been done on here that hadn't been done before. That could be true, but that could also be a lie. Because before the internet, who had done it before? There are a lot of things in life that haven't been done before. And even if it has been done before, a lot of times it's the way it's being done. There are things that have been done before, and you get other people who are more creative that come around and not trying to outdo the originator or the creator, but they just find a better way. They just find a better way, right? Just like paper towels. They put them on a roll, right? Well, someone came along and said, well, instead of putting it on a roll, how about just folding it and making it a napkin? Somebody else said, how about just getting it and putting it in a box like they do Kleenex tissue and snatch it out of the box? So yeah, paper towel has been around forever. It's been done, but you put your own spin on it. You put your own twist on it. Let's go make scented tissue. Let's go make tissue with longer squares. I mean, do something. Make it your way, some kind of way. And then sometimes if you do something like that, then you give the original person a spark to make it even more original. They'll start to do something else. That's what competition should be about. Not just trying to directly replicate what you see, but try and make it a little bit better, a little bit different. Put a spin on it. So thank you again, bro. I appreciate you. Much love to you, and thank you for being here. Thank you, Shawanda. I will see you guys again. I said hopefully tomorrow. If not, because I do have a lot of running around to do. Hopefully, if it's the Lord's will, I will see you the day after tomorrow, Thursday. This year is flying by, y'all. Lauren says, facts. Bye, bro. I might see you later. I might see you later. If our dear friend goes live, I might see you later. Bye, y'all.